Bowtie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, Bowtie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the Bowtie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. Bowtie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at bowtiebarbecueco.com.
Welcome into the Danny Britt Show live here at Bowtie Barbecue. A little bit earlier kick today. Coach Britt, a busy man. Got some important meetings to get to, but hey, we're still here all the same Thursday, getting ready for the playoffs. And Coach, wrap up a regular season, 7-2 record overall. And I think a lot of people, after the first couple weeks, if you said, hey, you can buy now for a 7-2 stock, they would have bought in because that was a heck of a run you guys went on at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, definitely. Feel good about what we're doing and where we're at right now, and starting in that schedule, that brutal schedule we started with, and finishing strong. That's what we talked about. I'm proud of the guys, coaches, everybody for sticking in there and just continuing to persevere, and very proud of where we're at.
And Coach, you get a big 49-13 win there over New Hampstead last Thursday night in a game that I thought could potentially be, I won't say a trap game in the sense of you wind up losing that football game, but kind of a sleepy game. You go in there on a Thursday night, not a huge crowd there at Pooler Stadium. They kind of had a rough go of it towards the end of the season there at New Hampstead, and you're coming off a really emotional win at Perry, flipping around. You got a short week going on a Thursday night against a team we're supposed to beat New Hampstead,
right.
But I thought the team came out and it was just kind of the definition of professionalism. Went out there, executed, got a big lead, and then milked the clock in the second half, got out of there.
Yeah, that's when we talked about it all week, it's being professional, just handling it like you should. That we were playing for so much more. We're working for so much more every day we go. Right now, we're working, of course, to the next game, but we're also working toward a final goal.
Yeah.
And so they did a very good job with that. I'm proud of them. We came out. You're right. Wasn't many people there. It was Thursday, before Halloween. It was all the things, but very proud of them and the way they handled it.
And going up against a different kind of offense there for New Hampstead, which you add all that together, plus kind of a strange offense that you haven't seen a lot that can be executed at a very high level, all kind of recipes for a headache. But I thought the defense played well against probably the most advanced passing game you guys have seen so far, just in terms of what they were trying to do against you guys.
Yeah, we were talking about that this week with the coaching staff. And again, a lot of credit goes to Coach Hockman. He does a great job with that, with coaching his quarterbacks, with coaching up his receivers. They do a lot of leveling you out, which is more of a college, NFL type thing of the routes aren't exact. They're running to open spaces. They settle in open spaces. They do a really good job of that. And, their quarterback, his nephew, Coach Hockman's nephew, did a fine job of finding those guys, standing in there tough and getting the ball to them.
And his brother, the receiver, and I think a few times you can coach up all you want to, but those guys have thrown those passes about 1 billion times in their lives. I don't think there's any defense for the brother-to-brother connection sometimes.
I'm sure they have been doing that since they could walk, and yeah, it showed, and they did a really good job. But again, I just want to continue to mention Coach Hockman and what a good job he does with that. It's year after year.
And again, an excellent performance from the defense. Really just a couple of plays, which they kind of schemed up. And the tunnel screen, which you say, hey, they kind of set you up on that one, but that's one your offense runs too, and your defense has seen it 1 million times before. What happened on that one, and how do you correct it?
We got out of position, and then we got blocked actually in one spot, and this out of position, weren't moving our feet, and didn't move quick enough. So we got on to those guys about that. I think that was one play we kind of did fall asleep.
Yeah. And I know it's a guy who caught it who, if he gets in the open field, you're probably not catching him.
Yeah, and I mean, nothing against him. He can run well. He's a good football player. I'm not knocking him at all. We got to do better than that. And we have played that play a lot better. And you're right. Our offense runs it a lot, and, we see it quite often. So we got to do a better job attacking that. But I think we did kind of fall asleep that play, to be honest with you.
And, Coach, I thought maybe the player of the game defensively was Mekhi Williams, a guy we haven't talked about a ton this year, but that's usually a good thing if you're not talking about a secondary player a whole lot. And you guys just really haven't played a whole lot of offenses that try to air it out too much. You played against a lot of physical teams that like to get in the ground game. And Mekhi has stepped up, played really well, actually led you guys in tackles in this football game, but had another interception. And, again, quietly, I think having a very good season.
Yeah, Mekhi's a dude, and did have a good game. He was our ball hawk last week. Had 8 tackles and the interception, 2 big hits. And we got the penalty for I guess it was high. I thought, he kind of tried to take his head out of it, but
yeah,
I know that's a judgment call by the officials. I'm just glad they don't kick them out anymore.
Correct.
Like they do in college. They tried that for a year or 2 in high school, and it's just you don't have the review process, and it's just not fair.
It's such a game-altering decision. Yeah,
and then to kick the kid out, and then it's just. So I'm glad that it's just a 15-yard penalty. But anyway, Mekhi played really well, and watch him when you get a chance. Just sit and watch film of him. He is so smooth. I mean, sometimes you'll be frustrated. Like, there's no way he's trying hard. It's just how he moves.
Yeah.
He's so fluid, and he will absolutely strike you. So, very good football player, and is having a good year for us.
He had a big game, and then Halston, I thought, had a really solid game as well. We talked about him kind of becoming like the emotional leader. It feels like a little bit on defense, but a guy, again, we haven't talked about a ton, but Cole Schumann went out there and had a great football game, 7 tackles in that one, and he's becoming that guy where you feel very comfortable with him on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, definitely. Jaden has just been very consistent. I mean, he's had a good game every game, and so he has become that emotional leader. And then and Cole had a good game, and very proud of him, and he's his growth and what he's doing, and I thought he had a good game the other night. He was the next in running for the ball hawk last week.
And flipping it over to the offensive side of the ball, our player of the game was Stanley Smart, and I think it's just, again, obviously Stephen Cannon, very efficient game for him, 267 yards to the air, 3 touchdowns. But if you had to point and say, here's who we're starting the offense with, it feels like it starts with handing the football to Stanley Smart, and then you kind of build everything off of that. Goes on the road again, another 70-plus yard game, had a big reception through the air where he broke some tackles and scored a touchdown. I mean, he is a bell cow back at this point.
Yeah, definitely he is that guy, and I have to keep talking to him to remind him, big team, little me, because in our offense, nobody gets the ball a lot.
Right.
And that's just the way it's designed. And when you have that many good athletes, that's a very good thing. That's consistently being able to win championships. So, Stan typically gets the toughest yards, you know, and he is that back, and he's a 200-pound, muscle. So, he can do it. And he does it very well and runs hard. And, of course, looked really good out in the open field after catching that pass, didn't he? So, Stan can make things happen and has just been very consistently and worked consistent and has worked extremely hard. Gotten way better in his blocking too, his pass protection and things, and obviously catching. So, really proud of him and his growth.
And then just modern football, you don't see guys anymore who get 30 touches a game, it feels like. And for you guys, I feel like that's got to be an advantage because now you get to the postseason and you look at a football game in the region, Stanley Smart's got 11 touches. Bubba Frazier's getting 6-7 touches a game. You're fresh. You don't have guys taking too many hits.
Yeah, that is one thing, definitely. Definitely makes it harder to defend. And to know where they're going. And we put a lot of effort into that, actually, and Coach DePhillips and the offensive staff do a good job of tracking that, like to make sure, trying to spread it around, make sure guys are getting the ball, and we're not getting too easy to read, in what we're doing. So they do a good job with that.
Does the bench shorten up, quote unquote? I know none of these guys are bench players; they're all starters for you guys that get a ton of touches. But as you get to the postseason, and there's a blank cutting time term that you hear a lot in this point, but when it becomes that kind of clutch moment, do you kind of start riding the hot hand, or does it look like this a little bit more going into the playoffs?
No, I think we continue doing that. I think we have enough really good players now. I mean, when it gets to that cutting time, you're gonna go with your dudes, and that's what Coach Saban says it best. Think players, not plays, when it comes down to that time. And it really, really comes down to it. We're going to try to get the ball above Frazier. I mean,
Right.
you know, but we have a number of guys, and we want to continue to ride that as much as we can.
And for a defense, just tons of headaches because when you have number 4 lined up in the slot and you're
Right.
like, okay, we have to have at least a couple guys paying attention to him or we're not doing our jobs. Stanley Smart's right there. I think power 4 kind of level running back that you have to pay attention to as well. That a lot of offenses will just be completely centering their offense around him. But again, I thought another great performance from him. We mentioned Stephen Cannon. He goes 15 for 20 in this football game. Very efficient, 267 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, but also adds 67 yards on the ground. Talked about last week, wasn't overly decisive with running the football against Perry. Thought that kind of flipped a 180 against New Hampstead. When it was there, he took it with his legs.
Yeah, and Coach Phillips has been telling him that, and you know, I've been telling him that is, you know, when you decide, just go. I mean, he's 6'3", 207 pounds,
and back squats 450 pounds,
and squatted Monday 455 pounds. You know, he can go, and so yeah, he looks really good when he does it too.
Sounds like the measurements for an outside linebacker.
I know, right? Yeah. I mean, and he, so you know, he's really, you know, we need him, you know, to make this run, to do that, be very decisive on his runs, and it just adds another factor. It makes it so hard to defend.
And Coach Aaron Mallard has another massive game, and just the kind of yak guy at this point where you get the ball out to him and it's 2 or 3 yards and he can take it a long way. We've talked about his speed a lot, but man, he's strong. I know he looks tall and wiry, but it's all muscle.
He is strong. I mean, he's gotten a lot stronger in the weight room this year. I mean, that's the difference in his game this year, is he's gotten so much stronger, and he runs with force. Earlier in the year, he's banged up a little bit, and we were, you know, he just wasn't running with that force, and boy, he's changed, and he is so dangerous in the open field, and you know, he's quietly doing a really, really good job for us.
And Coach, flipping it over to Josh Washington, another touchdown for him. He's just kind of a touchdown merchant at this point, where he's going to find a way to get into the end zone, whether it's rushing or catching it through the air. But we talked about Houston kind of being the emotional leader of the defense. When it comes to like the guy who it seems like will get in your face and is just overly passionate about it on the offensive side, I feel like Josh is kind of stepping into that position. Yeah,
it's a very good point. Yes, he has, and he's doing a great job with it, and you know, being emotional and fiery and doing. And what you got to do when you do that, you better show up, right? You can't be yelling and screaming and all of that and then do nothing, right? So, and he's willing to do it. He'll block. He'll, you know, if you watch him on the perimeter, he blocks extremely well and extremely hard. So he's wanting the success for his teammates. He'll run the ball, and he runs the wing tee buck better than anybody. Just he cleans his cleats and gets upfield. Just does a great job with that. And then, of course, can catch it. So he'll do whatever it takes. You know, early in the year, moved over to defense and, you know, started and played a really good game against Colquitt County for us, you know, and actually lost him for 2 games after that because of concussion where he knocked himself out. But but they realize that, and kids know it. They know, like, they'll listen if you will then put out. You know what I mean? If you'll put out and perform. And so, yeah, he's become that guy, that emotional, you know, vocal leader on offense.
And then, obviously, none of this is possible without the guys up front. I know, again, I don't know that I would have wanted to be an offensive lineman at the week of practice after Perry, just with Coach Fogarty, the level of excellence that I know he expects. And just, again, Perry had some dudes, but also I think some missed assignments in that football game from the offensive line. It seemed like they answered the call this past week.
They did, and you know, and again, looking back, they played okay. You know, they played pretty good against Perry. Perry did a really good job. I mean, I think not only their front players, but their coaching and their scheme, and then they guess right quite often.
Yeah,
you know, so which means it's not a guess; it's an educated guess.
Correct.
Right? So they did a good job. So I want to give credit where it's due, but they did. They came out and played really well and dominated, as they should have, against New Hampstead. And, you know, across the board, we got some young guys out there really doing well. But then Carlton Hall is just definitely the leader of that group and just has played very well all season.
And I know a lot of different positions, you want a different kind of leader where you want the quarterback to be the kind of the face of the team and be that emotional leader, nice and even throughout. I feel like you kind of want the offensive line to be the opposite, where they're kind of like the dirty dogs who are willing to do the nasty stuff for you. And you kind of want that emotion from them as well. It's hard to do that when you're thinking, I don't feel like they're having to think as much now, and they can go play.
I think you're very right. I think they've lost a lot of that. I mean, there's still some things to learn. I mean, because we've rotated a number of guys at the left guard or one of the guard spots, and excuse me, and so they're kind of new consistently, but now they've pretty much all played. But yeah, they're able to lose a lot of that thinking and be able to just go out and play football. And again, I want to reiterate, Carlton Hall, although he's a senior, he's young in offensive line.
Hasn't played a whole lot.
He just didn't get to play a lot because of injury.
And a really good time to be peaking. And I know we're flipping back and forth, but defensively, I feel like that same kind of growth and development from Cam Cody, which it feels like it's funny to say about a guy who is Clemson was committed before the season started.
Right.
But watching him last year, he was just big, quiet guy in the middle who was devastating to opposing offenses. Now he's big guy in the middle, devastating to opposing offenses, but he'll also tell you about it a little bit too, which, I mean, some people are like, I don't want the trash talk. I played, and there's nothing worse than getting your butt kicked and then somebody telling to you about it. Like, it's just that little extra just shows you the confidence that I think he has in his game right now.
He's playing really well. He's played well all year, even with double and triple teams.
Right.
And just has really been a dominant force the entire year. And I mean, the entire year. I mean, even, against Cockwood and Buford, he did some dominant things. So very, very excited for him and his future and what he's doing, but he's playing very hard and well right now.
I wanted to ask about the guys on either side of him, Gavin Smith and Isaac Scott, because both of those guys have had wonderful seasons. Have schools started to notice yet, or are we going to find out here in about a month?
I think a little bit, but it'll be at the end of the month to see where they're at. They have played very well, and they're strong, and grown men is what I like to say. They got hair on the chest, and then you add Jameer Lee in there, who is a very good football player and has a huge future.
Still a baby,
Still a baby. And but he can do a lot of good things too. So that group has played really well. And I mean, I get it. You got to account for Cam Cody, right?
Yeah.
You better not don't ask a center to just block him. That's going to be really hard. But who do you not account for?
Correct.
So because those guys have done a really good job.
Oh, and by the way, Guyton's just kind of hanging out on the edge there as well.
That guy, that guy's there too.
He's playing all right. Again, huge performance, big 49-13 win there over New Hampstead. Now a bye week across the state before we get ready for the run to Atlanta, and a big one coming up in a couple of weeks in Savannah. But we're going to take a break. We'll come back, talk about that and some of the other workings around high school football next, right here on the Danny Britt Show.
Welcome to Sandnat Golf Carts, where luxury meets quality. We offer a wide selection of top-notch custom golf carts to suit your every need. With our extensive inventory, you're sure to find the ride of your dreams. Plus, our flexible financing options make it easier than ever to drive one off the lot today. Whether you're cruising the neighborhood or joyriding with the family, Sandnat Golf Carts is here to provide exceptional service every step of the way. Visit us today to elevate your ride.
Bowtie Barbecue Company at 6724 Waters Avenue in Savannah serves up barbecue both familiar and new, made by hand and made with love. Family friendly and relaxed, Bowtie takes great pride in the by hand preparation of high quality beef ribs, smoked chicken, pork spare ribs, and more. Come join the Bowtie family. Ask about our food truck and catering too. Bowtie Barbecue Company, Southern charm naturally. Look for them online at bowtiebbq.com. BC Brothers Moving is Savannah's most trusted moving service. From residential to commercial to packing supplies, BC Brothers does it all. Let BC Brothers' energetic, trustworthy team wrap it, pack it, and move it for you. Check out BC Brothers online at bcbrothersmoving.com or give them a like on Facebook. Criminal defense, family law, DUI, and divorce. You need representation. The one to call is Savannah's own Jonathan V. Dunn, PC, attorney at law. Voted a Thomson Reuters super lawyer consecutively since 2023. Online at jvdattorney.com.
Welcome back into Bowtie Barbecue. And Coach, getting ready for a big bye week and a big run in the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Sometimes games go into overtime, and that's when preparation really matters. In retirement, you want to make sure your money lasts as long as you do. Abel's Iron-On Moore & Associates helps you prepare for the long haul with fiduciary guidance built around you. Local advisors, national reach, results that matter. Don't wait until overtime. Contact AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com today.
Coach, a bye week and just an interesting wrinkle they've kind of added to the playoffs just with the SEC championship being in Mercedes-Benz.
Right.
And that's where everybody is hoping to get across the state for the state championships. I know we talked about this a little bit after the New Hampstead game. It feels weird because it's not like a bye week in the middle of the season where you're like, man, we're beat up, we need it.
Right.
Kind of rolling right now. Everybody's healthy. You've had 2 bye weeks already. How was this one a little bit different?
This is actually our 4th bye week.
Fourth.
Because we didn't play that game. So,
Yeah.
So, it's a little unusual. I mean, but you don't really worry about it because the rest of the state's doing it too. So, it's not an advantage for somebody else as much. I guess if you had a few bumps and bruises, it would be an advantage for somebody. But, we've handled it fine. I think it's good. We got in the weight room and actually came at a good time for that because we were going to go ahead and do our maxes with our older guys this week, which we did, and we have gotten stronger through the season, which you always want to at least maintain. I believe you can get stronger in the season. Certainly at this age, it may be harder to get stronger as college athletes and certainly NFL guys, but for high school athletes, they can get stronger during the season. And we have. I'm very proud of that. Threw up some big numbers. Of course, I put some on social media, which were mostly the big D1 guys, but it was across the board of our guys have gotten stronger and better, and that's extremely important. So I think that's one thing we've done this week. We've just gone and tried to be, not hurt anybody. Try to keep everybody healthy. But the other thing we've done is just dialed in on some very specific things, and give an example, kickoff, we put out cones and we specifically got and just went with a few guys at a time and worked them to their angles according to where the ball was, working very specific things offensively, defensively, special teams, all of that, and hopefully just preparing ourselves a little bit more, for what could happen in the future.
It is interesting you say because everybody is dealing with the same thing. But you look back like at the college football playoff last year, all the teams that were on byes you thought would be advantage going into it end up getting beat in the college football playoff. Just this time of the year where you're kind of rolling a little bit. You talked about it a little bit, but how do you kind of maintain that edge with the guys mentally?
So it's hard. And I think, one, you just have to keep talking to them. And what you can't do, I can promise you my pregame speech for New Hampstead last week after we'd run the region and all wasn't the same as the previous week for Perry, right? You can't expect them to be on that edge all the time. So it's just stupid to try to do that. So we're not. We're saying, hey, wind down a little bit. This is what we're going to do. Let's get in and really get the maxes that we want. And then we're going to pull, and not really lift hard the rest of the week. So I think they're enjoying it, and take care of the things you need to. And in Benediction, they have to do so many things, not just take care of their grades, but I mean, they were all wearing their military uniforms yesterday. I mean, the number of buttons on there, we literally have to let them go get dressed early from weightlifting just to get all the buttons and stuff together. Make sure you've got all that taken care of. Make sure your haircut, is haircut. The coaches took vehicle to get, serviced, take care of things like that. So my wife told me to cancel some subscriptions because I got way too many. Apparently we have like 8 different Apple Music things and I don't even use it. So, but that's all.
Auditing finances.
I'm getting off track.
Auditing finances. So bi-week activities.
But my point is you could take your mind off it a little bit, just understanding that Monday, then we dial back in. There's no way you can stay on that red line for the whole 2 weeks there.
And again, that kind of goes back to the regular season too. You're not preparing for the next opponent Monday of the bye week. That kind of starts into the week a little bit, and then, like you said, make it a regular game week the next week. But got East Forsyth coming to town, a 6-4 football team, and in a region that was hotly contested. They could have very easily been a 2 seed, wind up as a 4 seed. But we'll talk about them next week. But with everything you said, makes it that much more important. You win the region, have them at home to start the playoffs.
It does. That was, again, we were just continuously talked about how important that was. Win that region, get the home playoff game. and yeah, we're really excited about that. And it was a highly contested region, and we could have been all the way up to the last night. We could have been playing several different teams. So they're going to come and give a great fight, and it's hard to beat a Bronco every time.
All right, Coach. We got 3 quick hitters we're going to do here, and then we'll get you out of here. We'll be back here next Thursday to preview East Forsyth. Number 1, you look at the region. You talk about region play. Our region, the way it was shaken out at the beginning of 2 weeks ago, whole different story of where it shakes out now. Warner Robins finishes the season as a 2 seed. Perry ends up as 3. Ware County goes to 4. I mean, did anybody see that coming at the beginning of Monday of 2 weeks ago?
No, and no way did we see that happening. No way I would have thought this would ever happen.
I mean, what a turnaround for Warner Robins.
I texted Shane the other night, and I just said, man, great job. Congratulations. Shane is the head coach of Warner Robins. And congratulations, man. It's a great turnaround, and very impressive. And believe me, when we played them, and they were down a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There was no way I would have seen this coming, but it has happened.
And we were kind of wondering, and you talked about it a little bit too, they ran the quarterback up the middle a few times. Well, hey, that works. Why didn't they keep doing it? I think we kind of figured it out. Hey, let's keep the dude safe in a game that we're not probably going to win and save him for the run. And, man, it ended up paying off. But some other high school stuff, the next point we want to talk about, Coach, reclassification. They announced what potentially the 2026 to 2028 classifications could look like. Slotted for 4A right now, but everybody in your current region outside of New Hampstead getting bumped up to 5A. You have any kind of insights right now of where that could be leaning?
Well, the decision for us is if we stay where we're at, you play in the private only championships. Me personally, I don't want to do that. We also would be slated mostly for the Chatham County schools, for the region.
Right.
That's not necessarily a good thing for us either. So, me personally, that is not what I want to do. Now, it's not just my decision. I'm a part of it. Coach Holland and administration, and then other coaches are weighing in. But we could go either way, and then we could move up, which probably will move up and play in essence the same.
It's called 5A, but it's 4A again. They just added 7A back.
That's all it is they just. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute, but yes, we will probably end up doing what we've done the past 2 years and play up and see what we can do and how we can compete there. I'm thinking and talking to Perry and Warner Robins, they're going to put them in a different region.
Okay.
Which they should. Yeah, it is ridiculous to ask them to travel. I mean, football is one thing.
Yeah.
But the other sports, you can't go 3.5, 4 hours constantly. It's just not right.
And Coach, finally here again, we'll talk about that as decisions get made. A decision that has been made is how they are going to seed the playoffs going forward after this season. And the way it's going to work is the top 8, the region winners are going to make it in the top 8, and then the next 24 are going to be power ranked by a system that they've put into place. And they already have it in place 3A and down right now, and we've seen that kind of bear out with some funky results. Number 1 being Southeast Bullitt gets left out of the playoffs, replaced by a team that they beat 48-8 during the regular season and had very similar records, but because it's your record and your opponent's record and your opponent's records, the way it worked out, Southeast Bullitt, who forfeited a game, has to go in at 5-4. Meanwhile, Southeast Bullitt, who beat them 48-8, sit at home.
It's a joke, and to be honest with you, it's an absolute joke. I don't know why they do these things. Oh, I do know why, because somebody somewhere complains, right? I don't care what you're running. Somebody is going to complain. You can smile and wave and say, yeah, I hear you. You don't have to listen, but they're listening, and then you go and change all this. It obviously doesn't work. So now all people are going to go do is try to find wins,
right?
Schedule wins, because if you got enough wins, that's all that really matters. And if you can be in an area and schedule teams that you can beat who are so bad that they can just you can still beat each other,
right.
You can go, be ranked higher. And it obviously doesn't work when you have a team that beat another team soundly. Then that team, and that team gets in over them, and that team had a forfeit. So it doesn't work. And I wish they wouldn't do it, but they never asked me.
I think right now you probably have the perfect system where it's the most fair. If you're not top 4 in your region, you probably shouldn't make it into the playoffs. And then if a team happens to run up against another really good team and a contender, you're going to have to beat them anyway. So, I mean, I don't see what the problem is with the current format.
The problem is that somebody somewhere complained and is crying. Well, and I'm sure there was somewhere where the number 5 team was really, really good.
Right.
And I'm sure there was somewhere last year where the number, 1 team ended up having to play somebody really good who beat them.
Yeah.
Too early.
Yeah.
So be it, man. That's better than just going and messing with the whole thing and absolutely just doing, that's life sometimes. It's what you have to deal with.
I think there's going to be a few people who might have been out there complaining who get left out and might be second guessing their decision to do that. But
right.
Hey, those are things we're going to talk about on the bye week. When we're here next week, it's going to be game week, getting ready for a run to Atlanta, starting with East Forsyth. Coach, we appreciate the time. Know you got to get out of here, man, but excited to be on another playoff run with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and go Cadets.